So I'm going to be honest with you, everyone. I did not want to record right now because I am still feeling feels off that last episode. Every time I have a free moment to myself, if I'm not thinking about something else, I'll hear that theme in my mind and I start feeling those emotions again. To the point where I legitimately forgot about this, but it's my birthday today. Normally, I try to upload something special on today, and that episode would have fit. I was just 2 days off. And considering what happened in this episode, it's ironic that my birthday was so soon around it. But once I remembered, I realized that this would be the perfect opportunity to upload this video. So that, plus something else that I'll mention at the end of this video, motivated me to try and start recording again. Because the last time I had an event that affected me to this degree, people who know my channel will know it. It was the Ascension ending, and I took a month off recording for that. Luckily, I had enough videos stacked up that I could still post, but I don't have that this time. And what is the opportunity that presented itself? Well, I've never asked you all this, but I would like to make a wish, which is also ironic considering the event's name was Pretty Star, shooting stars, you make a wish. I would like to make a wish for my birthday. And that is, for my subscribers watching this, I would like to ask that you give Nikke a try. I'm not talking about playing the game, simply watching it. I hadn't done that previously for, I think I've been recording for 2 years now, maybe a little bit longer. I hadn't done that because, to be honest, just initially recording the game, part of me was wondering, what am I even doing uploading these videos? The fan service was off the charts, and I could tell, based on especially how I talked about my core series, Neptunia series, I thought it would be distasteful to a lot of the people currently watching my channel. And I wouldn't blame them, especially when I met our initial team. The character design seemed to really emphasize that. Though I gotta say, part of me wonders now why I was even worrying about that, considering even my Persona fans, if they're still watching, guess what's the most popular Persona video? Yeah, not realistically speaking, I don't think anybody who's watching one of the series can complain too much about fan service. But that's not the point. And in fact, I had fully planned on leaving the series because I only entered it because a character my subscribers would know, 2B, had joined the game, and I thought it'd be an interesting one-off video. But of course, I had to actually play the game to get resources to get 2B, and I paid attention to the story. There was some good stuff there. Certainly wasn't thinking the story was bad, especially since it was fully voiced. But nothing that said I had to stay until I met who I would consider the other main characters, the Goddess Squad. Not only was that story really good, but I thought this is a group of characters that can go along with my core series, the Neptunia series, and that's what got me actually invested in seeing more of the story. Again, the story was good so far, but after I saw the Goddess Squad, I'm like, okay, no, I actually want to get or see more about these characters. But even still, I was planning on leaving the game after that. I just wanted to collect all of them. But then we get to the first event I post on my channel. Once again, I tried to draw a link. I mentioned the Ascension ending. That was involving my favorite character of the Neptunia series. And as far as fiction concerned, although she's having some stiff competition now, favorite female fictional character. Nikke gave me their version, Red Hood. And then I posted that event, and it couldn't have been more perfect. It's true that I didn't start recording from chapter 1 of the series. For anybody who's, if you would watch the game, it would only be through me, which I imagine would be a lot of people who are skeptical about even watching or playing the game. That event, if you don't start from chapter 1, I think that event is actually another good entryway into the story of the game. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's still the oldest. Like, chronologically speaking, it's the first event in the timeline that we see. For anyone skeptical in the series, I ask that you check that story out. The Goddess Squad has a lot of overlapping characteristics with the goddesses of the Neptunia series, and I think is a good showcase of how good the writing can be, as well as it gets you interested into who I consider the second main characters of the game. And you might be wondering, what about the originals? Well, that's another funny thing. The original three main characters of the game actually didn't start getting their backstories dived into and a lot of their character development until literally the moment I started recording the story. That's literally the moment we find out about their backstories in full. So a lot of what I see is first time for me experiencing it and you all. And for a lot of things that you all haven't seen, I do recaps of the relevant information with scenes showing you everything. Fortunately, a lot of the earlier stuff isn't super important. And for a lot of the things that are, I actually didn't watch those events because I thought they were skippable, and I go through them later. But basically, my point is, everyone, that normally you would think with the amount of fan service they do in this game that it's really shallow, or it could be outright disrespectful to the characters. But after the event I just watched, which I am going to be, fortunately, me just mentioning or implying what happens isn't a spoiler because we find out what happens earlier in the story. It's finding out how it happened that was so impactful, but nevertheless, what I just witnessed was one of the best things that I have seen in fiction, period. From a writing standpoint, the music, the voice acting, and funny enough, there was zero fan service in that arc. I didn't think about it because, that wasn't really a main concern of mine, but it wasn't there. Not saying that would be the case all the time. In fact, 2, arguably 3 of my favorite characters are the most egregious examples of that. But at the same time, they have some of the coolest moments. Like, again, if you've seen me, you know I like the characters who are blue themed, they got water, ice, or use a sword. And 1, there's actually a character that uses all 3 in the game. But 2, one of my favorite characters in the game gave me the coolest and the most epic water scene I have seen in all of my games.
Is this the power of a god?
And yet another, I've had some villains that I didn't like, right? In Persona, there are definitely some villains that I didn't like. In the Neptunia series, honestly, it wasn't never a heavy dislike. In fact, a lot of the villains ended up, I kind of like them. Anyways, but there have been some characters that I've had beef with, but I met, and again, one of the events that I recorded, I met the character who I have the most disdain for out of everything I am playing. And it just further emphasized how bad of a job I was doing because someone on my Discord, someone I've known who for a long time, who actually made my banner with my favorite characters on it, that's on this channel right now, he was currently watching my latest Neptunia video and said he hadn't seen me react that happily in a long time. And for me, it's like, well, no. You just haven't been watching any of my Nikkei videos, which I've had tremendous amounts of extreme reactions. And some of my most memorable moments on my channel have been in that. And the last video I recorded is now one of the highest. I cannot stress it enough. It probably won't get the same amount of views as my other really impactful videos because my channel isn't what it once was. And that's fine for me. But what's not fine is if I think others truly would enjoy it if they gave it a chance. So that's all I'm asking you all. And I'm using my birthday as a little bit extra of a push to ask, just give it a chance. Again, it may not look like much at first, although the first arc of the game it does hit you. I'm an example to say that it might not be enough for you to say, oh, I absolutely have to see what happens next. But they develop their characters. Their side stories, even though they might not seem as good, they're also really well developed. Now, not everything is a masterpiece, granted. Sometimes they do just have straight comedy and fan service that, those exist. You don't have to watch those if you don't want to. Although, again, I question how true that particular statement is, considering what the most popular videos on my channel is. But I think more people who are currently watching and my subscribers would like it than who are currently watching. If you watch Red Hood's story and you feel like it's not for you, then okay, at least you tried. That's all I'm asking. Because I'm gonna tell you this, it's not going anywhere. The writing, for my Persona fans, yes, I do think some arcs that I've seen, the writing is better than Persona. I'm not saying Persona's writing is bad at all, but those writers are different. Like, I genuinely want to just support them because of how good their writing is. Like, if they had a donation page to say, hey, support the writers, I would give some money because that's how good the writing was. And again, the game is free. It's one of the most forgiving gacha games if you want to play it like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure they even added a new story mode to where you can see the story. If you wanted to, just pick up the game and not play it, but just go through the story mode. They have that. I genuinely think the game is worth it just for that. But they also do have a lot of great mini games too that put the main game to shame. Not to mention the music is phenomenal. Like, everything but the main core aspect of the game. And in fact, I wonder if they did at least like had the main characters not be as fan service based, but then they had different skins that were more what we saw for to be more popular. I don't know. And at this point, they can never separate from that. Fan service is a part of their core identity. But if that's what's stopping people, or the gameplay is what's stopping people, I just want to urge you, give it a try. So that being said, I've said my piece as far as that goes. I got some other things I have planned in the future, and some other video ideas, some other unique stuff I want to try. They'll know that I think this Tuesday/Wednesday, a follow-up to the event I just played is going to be released. So I will be spending some more time on that game. And again, I expect more peak, especially since that's their anniversary event. Like, the event I'm saying was so great was just a side story. It wasn't the main deal. I'm kind of scared, honestly, but anywho. So look forward to all that. And one last thing, I mentioned before that there was another thing that kind of shocked me into trying recording again. I just wanted on record for this day, but I saw the craziest fight scene I have ever witnessed from another video that did well that is quite suspicious that it did, especially considering that video was age restricted and demonetized, which meant that most of the views came from my subscribers, and it was not being promoted to other people, yet it did so well. I hadn't finished the reactions to that show, and I had watched episode 10. And it involved another certain blue hair. Let me just let you hear what my reaction was the first time I met them for the fight. You have a sword! Yeah, it woke me up. If only slightly. But anywho, with that being said, post your thoughts down in the comments below, everyone, and I will see you all next time.